If you walked through Times Square this past year, you would have seen one of the most electric, star-studded Broadway seasons in recent memory. Theatrical marquees were glowing with massive budgets and packed houses. Hollywood A-listers traded film sets for the stage. Actors like Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter brought massive box office draws to live theater. Shows like The Lost Boys and Schmigadoon popped champagne, walking away with a staggering 12 nominations each. But look at the other end of that list. 10 major productions, loaded with critically acclaimed talent and immense financial backing, walked away with absolutely nothing. 0 nominations. In an industry where acclaim and ticket sales usually dictate prestige, these shutouts prove that success on Broadway is subject to an entirely different set of technical constraints. The filtering process begins long before a single ballot is cast. The Tony Awards Administration Committee determines eligibility based on rigid category definitions, legally barring certain productions from the race before the voting even starts. Technically impressive runs featuring magic or stand-up comedy, like Rob Lake's Illusion Show or Jeff Ross's act, fall completely outside the standard play or musical designations. The committee categorizes these as special events, removing them from standard award contention. Then there are remounts. Beetlejuice mounted its 3rd physical production since 2019. With sets already judged, producers voluntarily withdrew. A similar technicality kneecapped Mamma Mia. As a copy of a previous run, the committee ruled its design elements ineligible, creating a massive mathematical disadvantage. But what about the shows that were fully eligible, loved by critics, and still ignored? For those, we have to look at the calendar. This chart shows the timeline of the Broadway season against voter engagement. Notice this sharp downward curve in winter. In theatrical voting circles, this represents recency bias, the tendency for voters to lose track of phenomenal work if the production closes too early in the year. Take the revival of the play Art. It posted incredible box office numbers and featured a powerhouse trio of Neil Patrick Harris, James Corden, and Bobby Cannavale. Their fatal flaw was wrapping up their run in December 2025. The exact same thing happened to The Queen of Versailles. Despite a leading performance from Kristen Chenoweth, the production took its final bows months before the May nomination deadline. In this ecosystem, scheduling your opening night closer to the spring deadline often matters far more to your award viability than the actual quality of the material. Even if a show survives the rulebook and stays open through the spring, it faces a final, brutal hurdle: basic math. There are hundreds of eligible actors in a given year, but only a handful of slots on the ballot. When a season is packed with this much dense talent, the squeeze is inevitable. Huge Hollywood names actively starring in running shows, like John Bernthal in Dog Day Afternoon, Adrian Brody in The Fear of 13, and Don Cheadle in Proof, were all left empty-handed. This graphic shows the 5 available slots for original score. Because hit musicals like Titanic relied entirely on pre-existing pop songs, only 3 new musicals qualified. To fill the quota, the committee had to nominate the scores of 2 straight plays, rounding out the category. When the density of A-list talent and complex technical variables outpaces the finite number of available awards, exclusion stops being a qualitative judgment. It becomes a statistical certainty. We need to rethink the concept of the award snub. It's easy to look at a list of unnominated celebrities and assume their performances failed to land with audiences. But missing out on a trip to Radio City Music Hall doesn't erase a sold-out run, rave reviews, or a massive box office gross. A 0 on nomination morning rarely reflects the actual caliber of the work. To actually secure a Tony nomination, a production has to navigate a systemic gauntlet. It must comply with strict legal category definitions, time its run perfectly to avoid voter amnesia, and survive the mathematical improbability of a crowded field. An influx of star power gives audiences exactly what they want: a vibrant year of live theater. But behind the scenes, that exact same star power turns the awards race into an unforgiving logistical battleground.